Mr. Peter, please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. I'll try to keep the time. My problem with this topic is that we, in many cases, direct our critique against something that is not the real problem. Meaning we are looking at those who own the technical means and those who are in actual fact are afraid of what is going to happen with artificial intelligence and others. So my problem is really, or my question is really, shouldn't we talk about control and humanness, being humans and what it really means? That is something where I think we have lost quite a lot what we actually want to be, how we want to act as humans. So we should not be afraid what is taken off us, but we should be aware of what we can do and what we should actually do with our human capacities. Control always happens in different ways. It was a social discursive, commons-based use of data as well, where we use diffuse data from daily know-how, from experience. The neighborhoods, the peer pressure, all this is about control. We have individual ex post socialized by discursively established moral sentiments. That's something where we have diffuse data, again, daily know-how and experience. That's professional norms defined by superiors. Then we have this unfettered individual vested interest, optimized by specifically geared use of big data. There we come to the topic here, social networks, credit screening. Enhanced social, that's the last point where I want to say we are looking at control. AI and artificial intelligence supported social discourse, where we have social scoring, mechanism of social support based on systemic screening, based on social discourse and expert knowledge. Peer reviewing is one of the major things where we always are confronted, at least in academic life, on a daily basis, more or less. So dystopia is easy to say, well, technology is taken over. Now, androids are replacing human beings and the world is becoming a laboratory where control is not only a matter of modern times. See Charlie Chaplin's, I think it's a beautiful film. And it is part of a postmodern scenario, serial mechanism replacing humans and humans developing to bodies that internalize machine rule. This is something weird if we really think about it. And it is easy to present such scenario as a real fiction. We just, in a way, on a daily base, confronted with it, the chatbots and all these things. But what is the real problem? Why is it that we do, due to ignorance, to unawareness, specifically vested interest and personal vanity, there seems to be no stop rule emerging from the technology. We don't see it. We always are more afraid of it. But we do not think about there is also no rule of unstoppable exponential growth. It is not a necessity given by the natural law of these instruments. In other words, the challenge and problem is not a matter of technology, but of ownership, and not only the legal ownership, and thus of democracy and legitimate ruling. And this is my point, really. We can conclude by putting forward 6 theses or statements, condensing what I, in an analytical paper, background paper, elaborated. We are going beyond the analysis of technical developments. We have to look at the fundamental economic changes in the long-term perspective, not just what happened over the last decade or decades, developing from barter to commodity exchanges, and then finally gamifications. I refer here to Polanyi, extreme in the financialization. In terms of intelligence, we may express this in a move from common sense to well-educated people, specialists, without thorough understanding of of historical and economic process, and then to the reductionist educational approach, ending, with an MBA specialists who don't know anything about anything that is outside of their realm. Subsequently, we are confronted with a move from social action to individual rationality. Now, coming from a German background, the latter most pronouncedly visible by Mr. Lampe. I don't know if you know Mr. Lampe. He had been the servant of Immanuel Kant, who in actual fact functioned like a machine, every day doing the same at the same time, not having any sense of what is going on, expressed by the rain, by the umbrella he carried every day at 4 o'clock with him. So furthermore, we are witnessing the development of human beings defined by their relational character and constitution, moving to individuals designing themselves by vanity. Metaphorically, this is manifest in today's president as in the former times Machiavelli's prince. The development of rankings, replacing again in another dimension now, the common sense as use-value-oriented understanding of education and research. It's not about substance, it is about competitiveness. It is the competition-oriented university as model of today's higher education, the seeds of which are sown with concealed brute force from the preschool age on. Later, this is translating into hostile competition, standing against democracy and also against global interests of humanity. Taken together, it is the development from the holistic Vitruvian man, known from Leonardo da Vinci, to a torso characterized by the lack of liaison points. These are cut off here, where we find the dangers of genetic modification, of artificial intelligence, becoming manifest with this latter appearance on the agenda, veiling the fact that the real danger is coming from the before-mentioned points of dehumanization, the power-dominated regulation of human relations, where in actual fact both humans and relations are reduced on the definition by vanity-guided power acquisition. Is this what humans are about? Of course, technology matters here. It surely plays a role, but it is important to look at the underlying processes, underlying in a broad philosophical sense as well. Human beings as natural persons in law now are transformed into pure legal personalities, existing only as such, reduced on their legal capacities, sine ira et studio. Then, the pure legal personalities being incorporated, thus personally not being responsible anymore. See a relative acquittal of legal figures in the diesel scandal in Germany. People are not responsible. One cannot find anybody who is responsible anymore. And then taking to the extreme, this means that people already dehumanized are themselves further dehumanized by degrading themselves to the status of henchmen on the competition-driven system of gamification. And this is then in the closed a black box where technology really takes over, but not as such, not due to its own developments. Philosophical, or in a broader sense, references are with Kant, the individual as ultimate point of reference. With Smith, the utilitarian notion of the ultimate aim of individual action. And with Montesquieu, the spirit of law as standard of societal formalism, resulting in la majestueuse égalité des lois, qui interdit aux riches comme aux pauvres de coucher sous le pont, de mendier dans la rue et de voler du pain. It's the same law for everybody, for the rich and for the poor. Nobody is allowed to steal bread. Who wants if he or she is rich? In other words, looking for the new renaissance, as it had been outlined in the opening speech, must first and foremost look at the roots. Otherwise, we remain stuck in an abstract normative framework, absolutely entering a competition claiming to be superior, the West over the East. At first sight, liberté, égalité, fraternité are acceptable without any debate. However, instead of looking for whom to control, technology or the owners of technology, we must look for ways to control the deviations from socio-human behavior, deviations that oppose humanness, individualist, hedonist self-definition, resulting from gamification and competition. This triumvirate is the danger also for Europe, not the successes we see in China, India, Africa, and South America. Falling over one's own feet definitely does not allow blaming others. Competition, be it with reference to the abstract values or be it as a matter of crowding out, is nothing else than competition in nonsense, not shying away from spreading lies, twisting the words of others, or letting them have their say. And whoever knows about Douglas Adams' sentient pearl knows the bitter end of it. It's the bitter end of nothingness, of disappearing in something of competition-oriented AI-powered presidents, CEOs, chairpersons of board and national politicians. Who would accept today the hemlock? Vanity allows that such criminals are still honored. I don't want to name any organizations or countries here, but they are re-elected as presidents, they are honored, and who would accept the hemlock if nobody even notice what is happening, the victims, what they are doing, and what they are wanting, where they want to go. So I'll close here. There is more analytical background for it, but I think it is hopefully clear. It's humanness we lost. It's not technology that gains as such. Thank you.